Today is Thursday, August the 29th, and pretty big day in the markets, up 1.25 to 1.5%. The bulls certainly like the word out of China that they are not going to retaliate and put on additional tariffs, but they're also not willing to talk. They just want Trump to remain calm. So let's see what'll happen, but this is good news for the market. Stability is important up until the next earnings come around, and then we'll see how much the tariffs are impacting companies, because it apparently didn't happen with the last set of earnings, and it was expected to. So everybody had a big jump off of the close yesterday. Look at the Dow's big jump, typical volume, but not average volume. NASDAQ, big opening jump, S&P, big opening jump, and then just continued to move upwards from 1030 onwards, which is what we come to see. We see a lot of buying at the beginning, then a little bit of selling for those who bought early and are just trying to scalp. And then the regular traders come in. That means with advancers outnumbering decliners by a factor of almost 4 to 1, that the stock market breadth is now going to move back over zero again. And this is going to be the level right here that we want to see exceeded to know that momentum to put money back to work in the market is back again. I want to point out a couple of things that Sentiment Trader said in his free email that that he sends around. Gold, remember, we're going to take a look at GDX like we always do, but what he's saying is that the relative strength for gold is above 85. And all the other 4 times that happened since 1975, gold sold off over the next 2 to 3 months. So the big profits that we had in GDX are now down substantially. My 1,100 shares lost $924 today, leaving only $260 of profit. So I am not going to let GDX lose money for me. I'm going to take this sentiment from Sentiment Trader and base my decisions on that. Now, the proxy for the CNN greed and fear model that he uses has been low for a month, and according to that test, it's led to a rebound over the next month 13 out of 16 times. So let's take a look at the charts. And the S&P, which we said would be moving up, has done that yesterday, although remember I said first it was going to go down, then up, then down. It was going to churn. Yesterday I reforecasted that to generally up, but in the cloud, and we saw that big gap, and that's what happened. So let's open our gap tool in Motive Wave, and let's put that in here, because that's a gap that we have to be mindful of. Now, it's a gap that's in the cloud, so it's very possible that that gap will get easily filled, because in the cloud, price has a lot of variability. And right now in the cloud, you've got the largest resistance of all. This is a flat portion of the cloud, so resistance is going to broaden into next week, and then is going to start to decrease. But we've got serious resistance up until September the 10th. Apple, up 389. Nice big nice big hammer there. So our prediction was that Apple would move up. It has broken the 8 EMA for the first time this week, and that's good news. So I think it's going to continue to move up. Caterpillar, I bought another 100 shares, so I now have 1,000 shares, I think, 1,000 shares. And I love it as a dividend stock. It's fantastic. We said it would go down and it would touch the cloud. That's exactly what it did. Bounced off of the, sorry, not the cloud, the gap, and there it goes. Let's bring the cloud into play now and see what could be ahead for us. Well, there's lots of room to move before it runs into resistance at the 50 EMA. So the word is still good on Caterpillar, and I'm going to go in here and say that Caterpillar is still generally going to move up. Same with the Chiku span. There's nothing stopping it. On a weekly basis, let's just take a quick look. Again, lots of room to move and very thin resistance in the weekly cloud. GDX, this is the one that was disappointing. But when you get big moves in the market like that, you expect some kind of a pullback in your safer commodities. And now we've moved back into this channel zone again. But we stopped on the 8 EMA. That's very, very good. Lose that tomorrow and I'm out of there. I'll take whatever I can for a profit and wait for better times. Whirlpool, wonderful stock. I said that it would just churn up through the cloud. It is moving up. It got resistance on this trend line. We've been looking at this trend line for a long time, and it's been powerful from here to here to here to here to in here to here. This trend line is played, and it acted as resistance today. It will continue to act as resistance, but I think Whirlpool can break that resistance and head up to the top of the cloud. So I'm bullish on Whirlpool as well. Remember, I was short the 4 130 calls on 1,100 shares. Well, somebody came and took those calls from me. So all the premium vested. They took my shares. So that was good. I was in my trading account, I was running a negative into margin anyways. So that brings me back to now only using up a little bit of margin. And I prefer to trade with my own cash and not with margin. Snap, which we had a look at, did not give us a signal to break out of this pennant. We were looking at it today and it came to the top of the line almost, but it didn't quite hit the trigger of 1606. So we're going to watch for that, and there's a good possibility tomorrow. But look at that. It came to rest right on the cloud. Let's see if the Chiku span tells us anything. The Chiku span is sneaking up through the gap. Fantastic. We can either close the gap or we can bounce off the cloud. Let's see which one we're going to do. We didn't close the gap yet. Close though, close though. I mean, if people count tails, this tail here, this wick, and this tail come awfully close to saying that, I'm going to put a green line in there, to saying that we closed this gap. See how close we came? So some might argue that we closed this gap if you take into consideration this wick here and this candle. Let's keep an eye on it anyways. If we fall through the cloud, then I would think that we're going to make a definite close of the gap. So that's it for today. Positive is the word for the day. And I invested more today in Caterpillar. So I am probably now at about 20% cash. Tomorrow's Friday, long weekend. Let's see how brave the traders are and if they want to go into a long weekend where Trump could say anything. Heavy on stock.